Netflix almost bought and owned Roku in 2008. They passed. Fox just bought it for $22 billion. And the reason why might be the most important lesson in media history. Because Anthony Wood didn't just build a streaming device, he built his sixth company, which is funny enough what Roku actually means in Japanese. And this acquisition from Fox News or Fox, just made him $3 billion, all while at the same time being a competitive threat to Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and Apple. All right, so who is the founder of Roku? We know the device, we know the company, but who exactly is the founder? So his name is Anthony Wood. He is the definition of a serial entrepreneur. And before Roku, he already founded 5 different companies, including one called Replay TV, one of the earliest DVR systems that he sold for $120 million. So when Netflix approached him in 2007 to build a streaming player, Wood already had a deep insider knowledge of how people consume media. He started developing what would become the Netflix player inside of the company. But here's where it gets interesting. Reed Hastings realized that if Netflix owned the hardware, no other streaming service would want to be on it. So in 2008, they spun Roku out as an independent company with Netflix as an investor. Wood, the founder of Roku, kept control, and that single decision, back in 2008, that decision to stay independent rather than become a Netflix division just resulted in a $22 billion payday. And like I said, Roku means 6 in Japanese. That's why the founder, Anthony Wood, called this business Roku, because it's his 6th company. But unlike the other 5, I think this one's going to change everything. All right, so we all know about Roku. Maybe some of us are customers of Roku. We have the product at home, but for those that might not be aware, what is Roku? So Roku isn't just a streaming device you plug into your TV. It's actually the #1 connected TV operating system in America by hours streamed. They have direct relationships with over 100 million global streaming households. I mean, think about that. Over 100 million people who turn their TV on daily immediately see the Roku's logo, the Roku's interface. Not Apple, not Amazon, Roku. And Roku's revenue model is pretty genius. They make a little money selling their devices at basically a very low cost. But the real business behind Roku that makes them so valuable is the platform fees and advertising. And what does that mean? So every time you watch something on Roku TV, they're collecting data on what you watch, when you watch it, and what ads do you see. Now, the company raised $200 million in VC before they went public in 2017. And for 9 years, as a publicly traded company, they've been building this massive moat of viewers, data, and household consumers. And now Fox just bought all of it. And they bought it for $22 million. Well, billion dollars. It's a crazy number to say, $22 billion. All right, so speaking of numbers, let's get more into the numbers. Let's get more into the details of this acquisition. So like I said, $22 billion, that's what Fox paid. That's $160 per share in cash and stock. And the founder of Roku, Anthony Wood, personally stands to make around $3 billion on this deal. The company went from $200 million in venture funding over 15 years to a $22 billion exit. That's a 110x return on the VC money invested. And here's what makes this entire acquisition, the entire business, the story itself, pretty crazy. So Roku was losing money for years as a public company. They were burning cash simply to acquire users and to build market share. Wall Street hated it. The stock was down 90% from its peak, but apparently Fox, that acquired Roku, saw something different. They saw what analysts missed. Fox believed that Roku wasn't just a hardware company or even a software company. It was a data company with over 100 million households and the #1 streaming operating system in America. And when it comes down to streaming, that's worth everything. All right, so this was a huge acquisition, but why now? Why did Fox decide to pay $22 billion now? So Fox already owns the NFL top package Fox News, the #1 cable news network, MLB rights, and Tubi, the most watched free streaming service in America. But they did not own distribution. They never had a direct relationship with the viewers themselves. So what Roku does, Roku gives them that direct relationship with viewers. So with this acquisition, Fox doesn't just own the content, they now own the pipeline. They now have live sports, live news, free streaming, and now 100 million households with a detailed viewing data. In software engineering, there's something called a stack. This here for the media company is a full stack. And let me break this down a little bit more. So Netflix has content, but no live sports or news. Amazon and Apple have devices, but not Fox's content library or sports rights. And Disney has content and ESPN, but not 100 million, not 100 million streaming households to support it. So Fox, when it comes down to competition, just leapfrogged everyone by combining what they already have with what Roku had built. This is a bet with the hope of winning the next decade of media. And it is, in fact, a direct threat to Amazon Fire, to Google TV, and Apple TV, and of course, Netflix. All right, so what is next for the founder? What is next for Anthony Wood, the guy who just made $3 billion from this acquisition? So he isn't retiring, or at least not anytime soon. He's joining the Fox board and will help integrate Roku into the Fox empire. I mean, the founder, Fox, will be earning $3 billion from this acquisition. And like I said, this is his sixth company. It's his sixth startup, in a sense. And that just shows you his persistence and how timing really means everything. 6 companies in 24 years. One of his companies in the past selling for over $100 million. And now his 6th company selling for $22 billion. All right, folks, that is it for today. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Are you a fan of this acquisition? Are you somebody who uses the Roku product? I don't personally, because I try to stay away from TV, but to not get distracted from what's going on out there. But are you a fan of Roku? Do you think this is a good acquisition for the company? Do you think it's a good outcome for Fox? Do you feel like Fox is going to use this acquisition in the correct way and use that asset to leverage them against the competition? I don't know. Let me know down below in the comment section. Hit that like and subscribe. Peace.